Hello, and welcome to another episode of How to Be Fashionable and Beautiful. I'm Chani Ra, fashion commentator.
And I'm Charisse Kenion. So this series is all about us sharing our inspirations on how to create our own personal style. So before Chani tells us what we're talking about today, make sure you hit subscribe. That's how you're going to let us know if you even like this. Do you want any more? So Chani, who are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about none other, little in name but big in nature, Lil Kim.
Yes, Kimberly. I don't even know how little she is, literally. Is she like 5'2"?
4'11".
No, she's not.
She is 4'11". I swear to God, she's 4'11".
If anyone knows, Chani's going to know. Oh my gosh. I mean, see, even that alone is like, how are you 4'11" and making such an impact? Like, how do you do that? Because we talked about Salma Hayek on a recent episode, and she was 5'2", I think.
Mm-hmm. Next season, we need to get some tall girls on because I represent for my people.
Yeah, but I feel tall girls have got it easier because you can enter a room barefoot, and you're going to be seen.
True.
But yeah, do you want to take us to the first point that you've got about Lil Kim? Like, where do you want to start?
Where does one even begin? Lil Kim, when I was doing my research for this, obviously that's like quite a fun part because you get to go back and see, you fall down a hole, right, for whoever we're talking about. And like, there's just so many looks that I forgot. There's so many looks that like we could honestly do a whole 10-part series just on Lil Kim's looks. But I feel like I need to start with something that's kind of basic, kind of obvious, not basic as in one that everyone knows. The VMAs. And the reason I'm choosing the VMAs look is because it ties in with image architect queen Misa Hilton, which is such an important part of the Lil Kim story. So that is the only reason why I'm starting with this. So we'll get to the look in a minute. The look is like a byproduct of the point. The point is that let's gather around, children. Let's go back to the inception of hip hop. So Misa Hilton, I really wanted to give her flowers on this episode because at the start of hip hop, very male dominated. There were some female rappers coming up on the scene. People like Roxanne Shante. My mind's gone blank. I'm thinking of another example. Even TLC at the start, I feel like it was very much that masculine, wearing these baggy looks. They looked incredible, by the way. But it was that very much tomboy swag. It was sort of like, okay, we're going to stand next to the men and show that we can do it. It was the style that served a purpose. It was here to say, it was almost like, what is the woman's name? We can do it.
Oh, God.
What's her name? She has a name.
From back in the 50s, you're on about?
Yes, she has a name.
Nah, I'm sorry. I will never know that name.
Put it on the screen. It's left my head. But it was almost like that vibe, like, we can do it.
It was like post-war, right?
Yeah,
post-war
yeah.
Like women were going to work.
Yeah, and they were in the workwear, the roll-up sleeves. It was like that. It was like, okay, the men are doing this thing. We're going to carve out our own lane. I'm going to wear these huge jeans too. I'm going to wear the backwards cut. I'm going to wear everything that you guys are wearing. And I'm going to rap as hard as you. They were there to earn their place, prove themselves. When Misa Hilton came along, she was styling. She actually was working with Diddy when he was in A&R. So this was like, she was sort of getting snuck in by Diddy into these meetings so she could get her first clients. One of her early clients was Lil Kim, but she was the first person to be like, listen, let's be sexy in hip hop. Let's be hyper feminine. It was beyond feminine. It was almost like bimbo looks at this point. It was these bright acid colors, tiny bikinis, colorful hair, colorful furs. She was just like, why do we need to look like the guys look? We can do our own thing. We can be sexy. It's not going to take away from what we're saying. They've walked and earned the place, and now we can run and show who we are. And one thing that I really wanted to mention about Misa, that when I've done a video about her before, which is why I'm so passionate about this, but one thing I learned that, you find a bit of information, everything just clicks into place for you. Misa Hilton, she is of Black and Asian heritage. She's part Japanese, and she was like a big influence in my styling and my fashion work was Harajuku girls. And I would research this, look into my Japanese heritage, and I was obsessed with the 90s fashion from Harajuku. And I was like, if that isn't the most blindingly obvious reference that we've all just kind of glossed over, the hip hop girls at that time,
Well, Lil Kim in particular,
Lil
because
Kim
it
in
was the
particular,
layers. It was the extra little. That's what I like about Misa. I
yeah.
feel she could take something, so she can call in the designer stuff, but she will add the extras. Like she'll
Hmm.
make cuffs, she'll put Swarovski crystals. It's all these layers that definitely say how a
Yeah,
jewelry is.
and people, and the reason why I chose the VMAs, look, you've just given me a perfect segue because she had a hard time pulling from designers. We've heard this story a few times in our series now, where there are women of color trying to do their thing, and designers are just like, oh, like that's nice, enjoy yourself, like young hood rat, like vary that, Funnily enough, a running thread in that as well is that it was always Gianni Versace that was the first person to give people a chance, and you can just see his love of women that comes through in his
Women,
design.
period. Just like
It was legit because he was always, I'll give you a gown, I'll give you this, we'll get there later. But that VMAs piece, Misa actually made it. And a
But
lot
you
of
need to tell people a bit more. You're acting like everybody knows. You need to tell them
yeah,
which one it
sorry.
is.
The VMAs look was Lil Kim in the purple outfit. She had this one shoulder, long sleeve little top on. So I think the trousers were flared.
Yes, they were like little bell bottoms.
Little flares. So cute on her little frame as well. They made her she just looked like, oh, perfect. But she had one breast out with a little pasty on, and it rocked people's world. That was like, we see a tit every 2 hours now, in fashion. It's nothing. But back then, this was the talk of the town. And Misa was like, I had this vision, I couldn't find a designer to do it with me, so I was like, let me just do it myself. And she'd actually had to learn a lot of sewing skills while she was working with Lil Kim and also Mary J. Blige, people like that, because she couldn't get her vision together with the pieces that were being offered to her because people were just like, they didn't get it. And of course...
Well, no one would have got that. And do you know who actually inspired Kim to do it?
Tell me.
Missy Elliott said whenever she's with Lil Kim, she'd be like, your boobs are always out. Like one day this girl's going to go out and she's going to have a nipple out. And so she was like...
Misa was like, ding! Kim was like, ding!
It's iconic. It's that iconic look. Like, that's why I asked you to explain it, because I know when people see it, they will absolutely know it.
And I mean, we've seen like even Miley Cyrus has recreated that look. Like it's been recreated. She did it for Halloween.
Yeah, did she copy it exactly? It was like as close as she could.
Yeah, she did it for Halloween one year. But I just think that look is I chose it because it encompasses a lot of the things that we are all about on this show, which is risk-taking, personal style, and also resourcefulness. It's like people weren't just saying, here's a gown, wear this. That was two amazing women putting their minds together and coming out with something that 3 decades later we're still like, that was hot.
Yeah.
So
there's no denying.
I had to start there.
Well, it's the best. I love that starting point because it's like, if you don't know Lil Kim, you probably will have seen this picture. So I think it's really
100%.
a good way to draw people in. For me, the starting point is her hardcore album, because it's that the marrying of the styling and the posing. It was like, had we ever seen a rapper look like that before? I don't think so. Obviously there's always like a negative that comes with positive, because Kim was very shaped and honed by her partner, Notorious B.I.G., Biggie, and he was the one that was like, this is the picture, and it's the one where she's squatting. It's not ladylike.
No, the legs are open.
The legs are wide open. You can see the shape of her bits. What else is she wearing? Is it just the bikini, or she got a fur on as well?
It might be a little cropped jacket. We'll put the image up.
Yeah, we'll put it up. But it was like a power pose. It's like, I'm coming harder than you. So you talked about how the girls were like, okay, we're gonna be on the same level, guys. We're gonna wear the baggy pants. That was not Lil Kim. She's like, I'm barely wearing anything, and you're gonna listen, and you're gonna like it. And everybody did. Everybody had. I'm sure many guys had that poster. I'm sure many women had that poster, because it was a signal that like clothes are a vehicle for a message, and her message was not a little petite one, because that album, I mean, it's very explicit, the lyrics and what she's talking about. But it was like, if I'm going to make a statement, I have to go so far Whereas the likes of Megan and Cardi now, there's nothing they can really do.
No, she's
Because
done
Lil
everything.
Kim did it. All they can do is maybe they do it with better effects, better video effects, different makeup techniques. But Lil Kim already showed everything.
Well, this is why I was so fascinated by Lil Kim, because I can't think of many other people in culture, not even just music, fashion, where we are now is still so close to what she was doing. Like it's not like there's hints. It's like people are still doing Lil Kim looks. Like the lasting impact of Lil Kim's style, like we haven't really strayed away from it. And that's what I find, like, who else can you really say that about? You know, there are people that are still influential. Maybe you'll
like
see like
this,
an eye,
I don't know.
an eye makeup style, or the shape of a dress, but it's been modernized. Like I don't think you've had to modernize Lil Kim's look. She was so in the future. Like now, it's rare if you see a new female rapper come out that has a natural hair color. I don't even mean their natural hair color. I just mean like black, brown, or blonde.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like if you want to rap, as much as you need a microphone in a recording studio, you better have Technicolor hair. And that was Lil Kim. Like the full beat, Lil Kim. Like you're going to be wearing something like I don't think we've strayed very far from her style.
No.
And that's not a diss. You don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I know, but who are we going to be talking about 30 years from now? I don't know if there'll be another.
We're still going to talk about Lil Kim.
Yeah, because you brought up Technicolor hair and makeup. For me, my second point is Crush on You video.
I knew you'd bring it up.
It's like, for one, it's the happiest song ever that a rapper with a dirty mouth can bring. Like, it's a great song. It's fun, but there's like the yellows, the reds, the blues, there's these primary colors. There's also a bit of green. There's also a little bit of camouflage. And Lil Kim is like, from the wig on her head down to her toes, it is color matched. There's the things we know Lil Kim for. We know her for a lot of fur. So she's got the little fur bikini. She's got tiny black hot pants. She's wearing a yellow top. She's wearing a yellow wig. It's not about blonde and shades. It's like there's a green wig. And what I loved, looking at the makeup, she could have just, like, if someone did that today, they'd probably do, like, primary, like, heavy colors on the eyes to match exactly. Mm-hmm. But what Kim does, there's so many, like, iridescent eyeshadows and iridescent lip glosses that, like, so, yeah, there'll be a hint of green in the lip, but it's not a green lip.
Yeah.
It's, like, feminine and bold, almost, like, clown-like, but in the best possible way. It's, like, the most fun. One of the most fun music videos ever. And if you watch it today, I don't think you won't massively be like, oh, that's from this year.
Yeah.
Because it's just so forward. And like you've just, what you said is like, there's not much in between Kim and right now. Like what's even developed since her heyday. I mean, obviously Lil Kim is alive and well today and performing and wearing outfits, but I feel like we're specifically honed in on her first decade. Or two. But yeah, for me, I feel like you said risk taking. I just think she's really daring and exciting and fun. Mm-hmm. I think she's always had an element of fun. And I think some people take themselves a little bit too seriously to even go there, especially now. So yeah, it might still be her. We're talking about 30 years from now.
I think it will be. I don't think whatever's talking about Lil Kim, I certainly won't. I definitely will not. Like, who else? I was going to do another look, but I think just from how our conversation's going, I just want to bring up a point, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So once, obviously, we got into Lil Kim, sorry, my hair's going funny, into her designing. Once we got Lil Kim into her designing era, people started to realise who the F Lil Kim was, and everyone wanted to give her clothes, you know. She was very much a Dior girl. She was very much a Versace girl. She was very much a Marc Jacobs girl. And I think what John Galliano, Marc Jacobs have in common at that time was that very like high gloss imagery, you know what I mean? It was these bright colours, the shiny skin. She did Viva Glam. And she, to me, really encompassed that sort of like late 90s, early 2000s style. Like when I think of Y2K, when I think of the late 90s looks, I think of Lil Kim first, often, for that. It's those bright magenta backgrounds, you know, and the super tan skin. And something that we spoke about before, when we were talking about this episode, I think Lil Kim influenced Paris Hilton so much.
Okay.
In that. I have something to say because I feel like Lil Kim invented Mc Bling, and I don't think it was Paris Hilton. I think she did, and I just wanted to say it on record. So I'm going to sacrifice my second look to say that because
Tell the people first what Mc Bling is,
I'm
and
about
then
to. I'm about to, girl. I know I get carried away with my points, I do. But Mc Bling, it was basically to describe, they always refer to Paris Hilton as this look that was sort of like super high luxury that looked almost like McDonald's level cheap. So, you know, like when you think of this, you know, Paris Hilton style, it's like very bright colours, a lot of ruffles, it's super girly, it's hyper feminine, it's the big sparkly like Chanel logos, Hello Kitty. Is that not just describing Lil Kim's fashion? I think
Absolutely.
she was the pioneer of Mc Bling, and I just really wanted to say it. That's one thing I wanted to say. I just wanted to say it on the record. I just wanted to have it out there, and I want you guys in the comments to say, do you agree with me? And let's just debate that because I will talk about it to my death. I think she did invent Mc Bling. Forget about Paris Hilton. It was Lil Kim. Now, once she became a designer girl, what I love is that she went logomania crazy and was like, I'm here now and I'm rich, by the way. And the look that I was going to talk about, it is kind of linked, is when she did that bloody Louis Vuitton monogram spray
Oh,
paint
the
on her
LaChapelle,
skin
David
with La
LaChapelle.
Chapelle. And as much as I said a minute ago about the Marc Jacobs, the Galliano, like I think everything that ties into this era for Lil Kim, the later era, was her partnership with La Chapelle. And I just sort of wanted to give a moment, not even to one specific look, even though it really for me is the Louis Vuitton monogram, because who does that?
And that album cover, the one that he shot, is stunning.
Her hair's like,
The white blonde, pink background, the blue denim.
what I mean, it's those bright backgrounds, the ripped denim. She got the little vest on, I believe.
I just have to look it up.
Yeah, put it up.
Bear with me, because it's iconic. Like, I need that in my house. Yeah. Notorious K.I.M.
Yeah,
that's going to be blurry as hell.
So everything I was just describing, that's the image I had in my head. This encompasses everything I was just talking about. Again, she's a pioneer. Like, she defined the whole 90s and then she reinvented herself without reinventing herself and defined another era, in my opinion. You know?
Oh my God. Have you ever seen this doll?
Carmelo Whitman? Yes.
I love it.
What year was Notorious K.I.M., by the way?
Oh gosh.
99?
2000.
I told you, right? That's what I was making sure I was right because I was like, I'm talking all this talk. Was I even right? Yeah, I just feel like she went from I'm gonna change the game in the 90s.
Yeah. So that's 4 years after the hardcore cover.
Yeah. And then she was like, okay, and now we're here. Now everyone's doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna, hey, this is my best friend David LaChapelle, and we're gonna show you what's next. And I just feel like she was always in the future. And those images, the pigtails with the open mouth, she often wore like the blue lenses. She was in the future. She was just like a futuristic fashion hip hop robot, and I loved it. And I just don't think she gets enough credit for how much she influenced 2000 style. I think people kind of think all of this happened in the 90s and she was just like the 90s girl. But she defines Y2K style for me, hands down, 100%. I don't think we would have that image in our head of Y2K, Paris Hilton, Mc Bling if Lil Kim hadn't done all of these shoes.
I think she's... Even when you said about the robot thing, because on our recent episode, I was talking about Solange, how I think she's like a cowboy alien.
Yeah.
I'm like, hang on. No, Kim did that first, but with more in your face, all those colors. Kim's got a richness and a glossiness. Like, she will do the cowgirl thing. She'll do the motocross thing.
Mm-hmm.
She'll do the space age thing. Kim will do whatever she wants. And even to bring up Solange's sister, Beyonce, I'm sure you remember 2017, she did 5 Lil Kim looks for Halloween.
Yes.
Not 1, not 2. She did 5, including the one where she had, was it the Chanel logo on the wig?
Yes.
Lil Kim's definitely a fan of her wigs with stencils on. And I will actually show the name of the woman that did those wigs because she does not get enough credit at all. And I've forgotten her name. But I feel like for Beyonce to do that, again, we spoke about Beyonce. I feel she's kind of very manufactured and well thought out. Like, Beyonce did a really, really good job of all 5 looks. And I'm just like, that was 2017. Beyonce could easily do that again in 10 years from
Yeah.
now, because otherwise, what have we really got? What do people go for these days when they're trying to make a statement? It's like, I'm actually thinking, who else can beat Lil Kim now? And I wasn't thinking that before we had this conversation.
Wow.
It's just really struck me.
Now you mention it, the only thing I can think of that's like as statement making in today's time is almost going the kind of other way, with Cardi B getting really into the couture houses and wearing a lot of Schiaparelli and high fashion. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes a statement.
She's
It's
doing the
hard to
designer,
make...
but she's not doing showing everything, which is what Kim
Yeah,
would have
that's
done.
what I'm saying. She's gone the other direction. She's
Right.
covering up. She's like, if I'm going to cover up this expensive body, it's going to be with some fucking expensive couture. And it's just like, do you know what I mean? That's all I can think of. I'm not even saying it's comparable because it hasn't rocked the world in the same way, but I think that's the only real way you can stand out from the crowd now, is to just go the complete other way. And it's that kind of like, I'm going to wear something that's so exclusive that you can't copy it, because how are you going to copy Schiaparelli couture? You're not.
Could Rihanna be a bit similar to Lil Kim, do you think, with her daring pre-kids?
Yeah, even post-kids, I think Rihanna, and I'm surprised we haven't done an episode on her. Maybe, guys, if you want another season, we'll do Rihanna. So
let us know.
What I love about her is that she is like, she's one of my favorite people to look to for personal style influence, because she has this thing that I've been striving for, that I finally got, by the way, of just not having one style. Like, she hasn't got a style. Like, Rihanna's style is having 20 styles. And I used to do this thing where I would like commit to one look for like 3 years and then change. And I kind of hated it about myself. I was like, I like so many different things. I'm not going to have time in my lifetime to reference everything I want to reference. And now I've crafted a wardrobe where I haven't got one style. I can literally do a style a day. And I'm in my Rihanna bag and I'm happy about it. But that's what I love about Rihanna.
I think she's the closest, actually. Because even Lil Kim references, she's definitely had a few, because I remember when Rihanna has a little pixie cut, she definitely gives me Lil Kim vibes from back in the day when she first came out. I recently rewatched the Pour It Up video, which doesn't really get much attention, but in that, Rihanna is absolutely channeling Lil Kim, because she's got bikinis, the little blonde wig. So I'm like, okay, Rihanna could be the one, because let's be real, Rihanna's had a lot more magazine covers, I'm guessing, in her career so far. And she's got a lot more to come. So whereas I feel Kim, the Kim we're talking about, what we're talking about, like 15-year period maybe.
Yeah.
And even in that time she changed. Like you mentioned Marc Jacobs earlier. This morning I was just looking back at pictures, and she did have a little there was a Met Gala moment with him that was definitely the most covered up we'll ever see Kim. But she looked beautiful. It was like this crushed pinky red velvet dress, strapless. So she did like a little ladylike bit, but then she just went, nah.
It's quite funny, actually, because I was just thinking about that era of Marc Jacobs. I almost want to go on record and say that it was almost like he was inspired by Kim, because he was naked all the time in that era as well. Do you remember the Bang perfume?
Vaguely, but the naked bit I know. Yeah,
it was the silver background, and he was naked and he was all ripped with the perfume over his crotch.
Mark wants to be.
I think it was called Bang.
I think he's one of those men that's in fashion because he loves bodies and he loves sensuality.
Yeah.
And if he could be Lil Kim or somebody else, he would. Do you know what I mean? He loves I think that's why what makes some designers great, that design for women, when they really love the front of the body.
It's just funny because, like, and I bang on about it all the time, no pun intended, but, like, I just, Marc Jacobs is one of my favourite characters in fashion. And I say characters because there are some people in fashion that I feel like they're not real people. Like, I just love him. And, I love his facelift. Like, he has the best facelift in the world and I'm obsessed with it. But how he is now with, like, his silver nail polish and his facelift and, like, his, like, pointy little shoes, I almost forget that he used to be, like, this, like, bodybuilding, like,
and pre that,
the
Perry Ellis Marc Jacobs with the long hair.
But this is what I like. He's a risk taker. Like, he's done the looks, and I love people that try things, and he tried everything. I just love it. But it just seems like so many worlds away from, like, where we are now. And it is worlds away. He's like a 60-year-old man, and I just wonder when we're 60, what are we going to be sitting looking like, thinking, oh, but I love it. I live for him. But I feel like he had a Kim era. Now I think about it, I reckon
absolutely
he was definitely inspired.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. I mean, because we could easily talk about Kim for hours. And let us know if you want a part 2, because me and Chani can absolutely talk about Lil Kim for another episode.
We absolutely
can. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel, like it, share it, and definitely comment. Like, comment your favorite Lil Kim moment. Chani, anything you want to say?
I just love Lil Kim. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just happy to have existed on Earth at the same time as Kimberly. I forgot her real surname, so let me say it again. I'm just happy to have existed on Earth at the same time as Lil Kim. That's what I have to say.
You know what? It's actually making me a teeny weeny bit sad, because it's like, who else is gonna, who will like the next generation have to think of that way? Maybe it will be Rihanna. Who knows?
It will be. Bye.